everybody. This is week 3 of Real Talk with jk&t.
I'm Jay.
I'm Keith.
This is Travis.
We are brought to you this week by, again, New Era Auto and Design. You can reach them at neweraautodesign10@gmail.com. Just give them a shout out. They do all things automotive. That's motorcycles, automotive paint, rust repair, restore antiques. A lot of good things they're doing out there. How was everybody's weekend?
Mine wasn't bad. Had a buddy come in from active duty. Back home for good now. Had dinner with him and his wife. Wasn't bad.
What part of the military is he in again?
Air Force, military police.
That's
awesome.
Cool. How long's he been in that? Do you know?
I think it was 6 years, and now he's retired medically. Got hurt. Has all of his arms and legs though, so now he's moved back home, lives back in Pendleton. And it was nice seeing him. Haven't seen him, since I graduated. He was 2 years behind me, so it's been a long time.
That's awesome. I bet he's glad to be back.
He says he misses the being in the military, but he said the pay wasn't very good in the Air Force, not like Army and Marine Corps. He makes more money now being out. He said the only bad part is when he retired, the budget cuts now that the Obama administration laid out, he has no benefits at all through the military anymore.
I'll be darned.
Yep.
Well, that's something. I had a heck of a day today as well at the movie theater. Went to go watch a movie, and during the introduction to the movie, the voices cut out of all the previews, and they told us just give us 15 minutes and we'll have it fixed. And after 15 minutes, that did not happen. They didn't get it fixed. It still had a problem. And we ended up going and watching Son of God. Excellent movie. Everyone listening, if you get a chance to go see that, I would recommend it highly. And we got a lot planned for this week's show. We appreciate all the followers on our first 2 weeks. Like I said, every week is designed to be better each time. We will do a lot of new things each week, and we've got a lot planned. We've got a special interview today. We're going to do a phone conversation with a gentleman in Texas, and for more on that, I'll let Travis talk a little bit about this gentleman that emailed us.
Wait a minute, how was Travis's weekend?
Yeah. How the hell was my weekend?
Yeah, why the hell are you forgetting him out, man? Come on.
I just spent most of the time with the wife and the new baby, 5 weeks old. Next Friday, she'll be going on 6 weeks, so that's been going great. Just been trying to get down the whole, getting her to sleep thing, and me and her mom's both still getting used to her, and it's going pretty good.
Good.
How much sleep are you losing?
Well, myself, not a whole lot.
Yeah.
But, probably not so much for Amanda, but I try to do what I can to help out there in that category whenever I can.
Absolutely. Well, about this gentleman that emailed us, he emailed us from Texas. His name is Andrew Garrett, and he did email us a good email. And his email is, "Hey guys, just finally got to hear the whole first episode. Keep it up. It is really good. I was wondering if you guys had any thoughts on the Mounds Lake project to come. It is one of the biggest propositions Anderson, Indiana has had, and I think my whole lifetime. I know that I don't live there at this time, but that town is still my hometown, and I would like to stay involved and get an idea of what you guys have on this topic." We are going to phone in to Mr. Garrett in Texas, and he will talk about this with us live, and it's going to be a good thing. He's a big fan of the show. He did listen to our first week, and he's coming on the line now.
Hello.
Hey man, how you doing? This is Andrew.
Hey, pretty good. How's it going?
Not too bad. We're just getting the show started here. Jay went ahead and read the email off to kind of give everybody an idea of what this discussion is going to be about. You emailed us concerns of what you thought our opinions were on the whole Mounds Lake project, and what do you got to say about it?
Yeah, I mean, as you heard with the email before, there's a various amount of different. Oh, sorry, heard the echo there. Yeah, but there's just a various amount of opinions going around about it. Some of the good things about it is, of course, bringing jobs in. Some of the negative things being just people are concerned about houses being sold, not taken off properly. You got the issue with the water treatment. I guess there's some industrial dump sites that were around where the reservoir is going to be, and I know that's brought a lot of concern on. My personal opinions on it is if they are to go ahead and go forth with the project and everything, I understand that they're going to be taking out some of the Mounds Park. And there's a lot of people that are upset with the fact that some of the mounds would be taken out, and they say, it's a place of preservation and everything. But, the way I've seen it is Anderson's really been out of, I guess you could say that they've been out of economic gains for quite some time now. And I see it as a really, really good opportunity to just basically, bring some money back to Anderson. Not only are you going to have more jobs just to maintain and keep up the reservoir, and I mean, there's going to be, anything from just your routine maintenance, lower wage jobs to, the higher end engineering jobs and things of that sort. So it's going to bring a lot of opportunity there. You're also going to have, your Indianapolis is only about 30 minutes away. So to have a reservoir site that close to Indianapolis is going to bring some, I would imagine, some definite tourism. It's going to have, I'm sure that if they do what I think they want to do with it and try and put some houses and things around that area as well, you could have a growth in, people that want to, people that, have second houses, vacation spots. You'll have more tourism there. It's going to bring other industries in because, people are going to see that place as a, place of profitability. So you're going to have, basically more jobs coming in all around.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm just going to kind of touch base on the Mounds Park issue. Kind of got on. There is a website for this project. I believe it's moundspark.com, or you guys can
Moundslake.com.
Or there you go, Jay. Moundslake.com, where you can find a lot of a lot of your answers there on what this whole proposal's about. Some of the concerns. It kind of answers for itself. I got on there and kind of did a little research myself, and as far as the Mounds Park goes, it does state that Mounds Park lower lands by the White River will be impacted. Shoreline protection will be designed to assure that erosion is prevented. Tourism to the park could increase, as well as revenues for services the park could provide, such as a boat launch. I don't know if that sounds a whole lot as far as benefits go for Mounds Park. It sounds like there's a few good things into there. What do you guys think?
Yeah, there's a lot to be talked about with this. Anderson is kind of what you would consider a ghost town. A lot of the jobs went away once General Motors left town. At one time, General Motors was the number one job providing source in Indiana.
Definitely.
In Anderson, Indiana, I think there were over 500,000 people in central Indiana that worked for General Motors. But once they left town, it seems like everything left with it, and now we're just left with thrift stores and
gas stations and
furniture
stuff like
stores.
that.
It definitely there's a lot that they can bring to the table with this, but it is going to upset quite a few people.
Yeah, there's been a lot of businesses there I know that have struggled really since the whole Delco, GM, and all them businesses got up and took off. I personally had uncles and stuff like that that worked for GM and Delco and whatnot, and they got there 30 years in and got out apparently just in time for everything kind of closed shop and took off to its next adventure. Keith, you have any more to say on the as far as the Anderson goes and the how this whole project could potentially affect Mounds Park?
I think it's personally going to be worse than anything being good. I don't see him getting it done, and the time spent. They say, what is it, 4 years? And to go back, Andrew, with you're talking about the industrial dump sites. I know there's a lot of car shops there. I mean, that dump, antifreeze, transmission oil, transmission fluid, oil. I mean, brake dust. All that stuff's around there, and I just don't see them cleaning it up good enough to actually it to be a clean water. Really, I don't.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you on that, and that's one of my biggest concerns about the whole project is the fact that if they are going to be implementing this upon areas that were former dump sites, they're not only looking at this as a vacation spot, but it's supposed to be a source of water for not only Anderson but neighboring cities. So, I mean, that is a huge area of concern. I like to think of it from the optimistic side of things, and try to hope that the engineers and everybody behind developing it are going to take the proper steps. And I do look at it as at least not an opportunity, but just a means of trying to recover Anderson back from, just being, as Jay was just saying, being a ghost town to being something that can actually sustain itself and, have some kind of life to it again. And again, this could not only bring in just service jobs, because you could have more restaurants open up and new malls. I know there's a project or something that I at least heard that was being propositioned about a new mall out there really close to the casino. But if you think about it, because I know that there's already a few different call centers that popped up, and basically in our generation, the call center is the new GM, it's the new factory, it's the way for the middle class to kind of make their ends meet and, live a successful and happy life. But I see it as an opportunity to bring more things like that in, because you could have the higher end employees of the call centers that would want to live somewhere nice like that. So they would proposition to try and get some of the, empty factories maybe leveled out or, reconfigured and, bring some more jobs in general there. So it's like I said, I am hopeful, but at the same time, there's definitely some skepticism there, because it sounds like there is some shady things going on as far as the actual implementation is concerned on it.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I mean, I hope that we can find a way to make this to what Geist used to be. But if we want it to be that nice, not only do we have to clean everything up and take our time with making sure everything's what I would call kosher, we're going to have to go, past the boundaries of what they're going to make the reservoir, because there's too many other trashy areas that will be around the water place.
Not to mention, you got got Rangeline Auto Parts. You got a couple salvage yards there. Used to be GW Pierce.
Yeah, GW Pierce. I mean, if you go down by where Lee's video used to be, there off of Columbus, there's some houses back there that, I don't want to call the people that live in them by any means trashy or anything, but if we're wanting to make this a profitable situation for Anderson, we need to go through and basically clean house. We need to start rebuilding homes and making it look nice in the surrounding areas of it, or it's just going to be, another Anderson dump.
Absolutely.
And, you know, Anderson doesn't need that. Anderson needs something that, like you guys say, will put them back on the map. Because the only thing we have now are hotels, restaurants, and shopping, you know, Walmart, stuff like that. We need something that brings back money to the middle class so they can, you know, make by.
Definitely, and I think really since GM and all them places have left, I know we've touched base on this. Really, when GM and all them left, my opinion on the whole matter is that basically Anderson left. And really, you can say Anderson's claim to fame now is probably the casino, which is probably
Definitely.
good. Which is probably good for some people and bad for others. I do know, as far as the time frame of this project goes, Phase 1 is complete. Phase 2 feasibility is a 6-month time frame. Phase 3 permitting and preliminary design is 30 months. Phase 4 design and construction is 48 months. I believe that all may equal out to around 7 or 8 years we're talking as far as the time frame goes that they will complete this project.
Yeah, Andrew, with that being said, what are your concerns as far as the financial stability or the financial aspects of this project?
Well, I was reading a little bit on it. I do know that the proposition is going to call for, I believe, $400 million. So, by no means am I an economist or do I know how all that stuff works, but I do know it's probably one of the biggest, I'd honestly say one of the biggest risks that I think Anderson's ever taken. I know that they're kind of, one of their last bigger projects, so to say, was the reconstruction of downtown around that Meridian Main Street area, and also the theater at the Mounds Mall. And I mean, those were, I would say that the downtown is kind of an ongoing situation. It still might be too young, even though it's been, you know, a little over 5 years to say whether it's a complete success or a complete failure. I know that with the theater, it's been operating on loss, so there are some concerns with that. So I do know it's a huge gamble, and I would say at this point it's going to really be up to the people behind it to drive it forward. Again, I know that they are planning on buying up a lot of property, especially around the downtown area. They're going to be getting rid of what I think it's 10 square miles in total, if not more, of the actual landscape of Anderson itself to do this project. So, I mean, the entire town could be drastically changed, and at this point, it's just up in the air on whether that's going to be for the good or for the worse. I haven't gotten to look into too much of it myself. I did send you guys over those links for reference. Sounds like you've actually studied up on it a little more than I have. But it's really going to be down to how it's maintained and established. I think that, like I said, I think it's something where portions of the reservoir are allowed property where you can actually buy on it. I think that would be one of the more solid investments, because I do know that when you have property on things like that, that's where you get the money in there. That's where you get the people that buy the land, build houses, etc. And then you have those people that are going to have frequent vacationers. So you're guaranteed, 5-6 months out of the year, you're going to have just tourism money coming in and out like crazy. So I really don't know how it's going to be implemented, but again, hopefully if they do plan ahead and do everything right, it'll be a way to, build up from those losses.
Definitely, we know what you mean there, and due to prior research here, as far as what the lake will look like and what areas will be underwater, if you guys need to know, It is about 7 miles long and 3/4 of a mile wide at the largest point. It basically begins near East Lynn and 18th Street in Anderson and moves east over the Mounds Mall site towards Mounds Park and even into Delaware County. Man, that sounds huge. That's going to cover a lot of land. I think that's going to bring a lot of jobs, in my honest opinion, there. And I think if this is just thought out right, designed right, and everything just goes perfectly, I know everything probably won't go perfectly. If they can pull this off and make this a reality for Anderson, I really think this could be the thing that could potentially turn Anderson around to attract more businesses, like we said. Bring a bigger economy to Anderson, definitely. I mean, you're going to need there's going to be a ton of jobs there to build this thing and to get this thing going.
My question is, even if it all goes to plan and everything turns out great, which I hope it does, brings, to me, I look at it as fishing opportunities. But my question is, anybody that's losing their business or has to relocate, or Anderson's going to come in and buy up their house and they have to relocate, are they going to give them market value of what the home was worth, or are they going to, look at it now and give them, the price that it's worth now? That's what I'm concerned about, is that people are going to be losing things.
Yeah, I mean,
and
definitely
not having the money to relocate, even if they get,
There definitely has to be something in it for the people that have to relocate, give up their homes, businesses, things like that. It can't be we're coming in and taking over mentality. It's got to be, it's got to be a two-way street.
There's some businesses there, it's been there forever. Hansel Tires right there in the middle of it, and they've been there, before I was even born.
I do know the Mounds Mall was the first mall of its kind in Central Indiana. I believe in 1962 that was built there, and at one time that was a landfill for many, many years, and that's another concern that I would have. Andrew, I don't know what your thoughts are there as far as the prior existing land structure there and what was going on with that being a landfill at one time on top of all these businesses with hazardous waste. But what are your thoughts there as far as the actual land itself?
Again, it kind of goes back to what I was saying before. It's all about the execution, really. I know with politics, there's a lot of politics. There's a lot of deals that go on and a lot of behind the scenes handshaking that happens. But really, what I'm hoping for is that you're going to have the city engineers and the planners and the developers and everything that are going to do this right go in and take everything out, truly dig it up and recover it all. And again, on the opposing sides, this is a big concern, and this is one of my personal biggest concerns. A lot of the other things, the preservation and stuff, I really don't agree with, just because what are you preserving at this point? When it comes to like Mounds Park and some of the old sites and some of the, the historic houses and things, it's like you're preserving a ghost town. So why not just try something new and build that profit? But again, to go back with what you were saying, with the topic of, how are they going to execute this? Are they going to take care of it right? If they don't, they're not only going to put the town itself in financial danger, but they're going to put in danger drinking supply for not only Madison County, but I think, Travis, you touched on it, like you were saying. Delaware County is counting on some water to come from this reservoir. I believe Hamilton County is, and even a couple of other surrounding counties. They've already, kind of established that they're going to use this as a water supply for that. It's a very dangerous thing to do when you're talking about taking over places that were former landfills, former industrial dump sites, things of this sort, and, digging a hole out of all this, planning to get everything out of there, and then all at the same time put a reservoir supply of water in there for people to drink how many hundreds of square miles would that be? I mean, what kind of population are you looking at? I mean, that's people from Indianapolis, people from Muncie, Alexandria, Pendleton, and so forth. That's a really dangerous thing. So at the end of the day, I really hope that they are planning ahead. I hope that they have all their ducks in a row, and I hope that they know how they're going to take everything out of there.
Definitely, and I couldn't help but chuckle when you brought up the whole, what is there to preserve left in Anderson? I think you nailed that on the coffin, to be honest with you. But I do know, going back to the businesses that have been affected in the area, or that will be affected, I apologize, in the area that rent space, short term, not at all. If you remain there for 3 years, you will need to look at a relocation plan should the project proceed. That will be looked at. Toward the end of Phase 3 is the starting point for land acquisition. At that point, we would work with you to find the relocation option that works best for your business. And estimated cost, going back to that, like Andrew said, $350 to about $400 million. As far as what is the projected mean, will the project mean higher taxes? Will this project mean higher taxes? I apologize, people, I can't talk today. Supposedly, no, not directly. It could very well result in a reduction of tax rate through your assessment could increase if property values climb.
That's kind of iffy to me. Unless the federal government helps out with $350 to $400 million, I can see Anderson, Madison County, all in general's taxes going higher.
I mean, a big question people are going to have is, where will I live if you're going to take my property? Will you help me find another place to live? And that's another part of the planning. The planning has to be executed, what I call with military precision. It has to be well thought of, and town hall meetings, all kind of groups of people meeting together and getting explanations for the ones directly affected in that area.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You can't just do this on a whim. I mean,
and sorry to cut you off, Keith.
No, you're fine.
But I did want to say that if there is one good thing about the situation right now, it's that there is a lot of property in Anderson available because of the fact that it's a ghost town, and it is relatively cheap. And another thing I kind of wanted to jump in on real quick before we get off topic was that I think it was Jay talking about it, but you said, about people, or no, it was Keith, I'm sorry, Keith, but you said about people getting fair prices for the current property. I remember, I was a kid when this was going on, but when they were going to build Walmarts on Scatterfield, and that there used to be houses and stuff up and down that area, I do know that people were getting pretty lowballed on their offers, getting about 30% less than they should have, so getting about a 70% offer of the normal market value for their houses. So one thing I would like to say to people out there that would live in that affected area is, if you are there and this proposition goes through, it definitely might be a good idea to get out now, find you some other land in Anderson, but also just look at it as an opportunity, because there are plenty of other properties outside of that affected area that are cheap right now, and if this does end up booming, you could be sitting on a gold mine by buying some of that property.
Definitely a good point to go back there and clarify some information. As far as where people will live, if their property will be taken, and if they will be helped to find another place to live, I do know that the Anderson Housing Authority will provide a housing counselor to the project once Phase 3 is entered into for those wishing to have assistance during the process. There will be many solutions depending on individual needs. Many units could be relocated into another park setting. Some homes could be relocated, and others may be able to be raised on their current site.
Yeah, definitely. They're going to have to do something. They're going to have to, it's got to be a two-way street. Again, we've talked about it, but they have to, be willing to give some other than just, take.
I mean, I go back with what Andrew said. If you can find a way to get out now by all means. And I mean, do look at it as a new beginning or a better opportunity.
Definitely,
but
that's how you got to look at it.
But at the same time, if people are trying to sell their houses in the area that places are going to be affected, if anybody knows anything of what's going on, these houses now are going to drop in value on the market because what is going to happen, and that's what I'm worried about. Is when it comes down to crunch time, these people are going to have to settle for what they're offered, and once again, it's pretty much screwing the middle class again.
Yeah, either way you look at it, and that's just kind of going on around the whole country right now. As far as the middle class goes, but not to get off the topic. We do know that as far as what will be impacted, like the White River wetlands and wooded areas, etc. It does say mitigation will be required to minimize the negative impact. Planting of trees and creation of new wetlands are just a couple of required actions. On the positive side, water quality will be improved. It all sounds great. I'm going to probably chalk up my last comment on this whole topic here of discussion. Like Andrew said to you guys, at this point, what is there to preserve? Anderson really needs to be put back on the map. And if this is if this goes great, it's well thought out, planned, and goes as it's supposed to, I really think that this really could turn everything around for Anderson and bring more people here that want to live in Anderson, bring a lot of tourism, bring a lot of money is what it boils down to, a bigger economy for Anderson.
Yeah, absolutely. It's all about economics, and economics always seems to win, and no matter what the case is, economics wins, and it looks like at this stage they're preparing for this in a nice fashion, and they are putting a lot of thought into it before they go out and just take action. We are in phase 2 right now. Phase 1 has been in process for the last 3 years, and the next phase, which we're in now, phase 2, will be for I think the next year or so. But Andrew, we do appreciate you calling in and talking with us on Real Talk with jk&t, and we appreciate you following us and listening to our shows.
Yeah, and I just want to add in to everybody that Andrew was born and raised in Anderson, so he does kind of stay up on current events as far as Anderson goes in the surrounding areas. He does live in Texas right now, and how's it going out there, by the way, for you? How's that coming along?
Texas is going really well right now. The weather's been kind of chaotic. It's definitely, I used to think that Indiana could be bipolar with weather, but one day last week we had I think it topped out at 83 degrees. The next day it was 27 degrees and raining, like freezing cold rain, turning ice on the ground. So this place, it's kind of, you gotta pack up on the airborne and keep taking your vitamins to stay in good health, because the weather here switches a lot. Aside from that, I like it a lot. My wife Caitlin and I are in a nice place. She actually manages the property where we live. Well, no, I should say she's the assistant. She's working on becoming the assistant manager. She's in training right now, so that's going good for her. I got a good job that I'm really enjoying a lot out here, and I hope that maybe one day if this project does take off and there's a lot more business back in Anderson, that hopefully I could come back, and we could both have some lucrative jobs out there and be able to spend time with the people we're close with. But I did want to say before I get off here, I love the show, you guys. I've been listening to the last 2 weeks. I can't wait to listen to this one. Hope you all are doing well. I miss you guys, and I hope you have a good next week.
Yeah, absolutely. We appreciate you and everyone that listens in, and we hope that you return and keep listening. We like to provide somewhat of some company to many people out there.
Yeah, definitely. And, I'll give my word and let Keith give his final thoughts here. Definitely appreciate you tuning in. Get the word out there for us over there in Texas to the Lone Star State. We want everybody to listen from Texas to hell, Dubai.
Yeah.
I don't know about Dubai. Come on, that's going a little far.
You never know.
That's going a little far. No, yeah. Andrew, thanks, man, for listening. I know we haven't talked. It's been a while. So just hang in there, man. Have fun down there in Texas. And maybe we can all get down there and see you down there, because I'm pretty sure it's better down there than it is up here right now. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, guys.
All right, man. Thank you, and we'll be talking to you soon.
All right.
Have a good one.
You too.
All right, guys. That was a little Q&A. We get a lot of emails for different topics, and an ideal fashion, we would like to, have many more phone conversations with people, whether they're here in Indiana locally or out in California or anywhere else in the United States. It's something we enjoy doing. The next story is kind of interesting. We've got a situation in Iowa where a 27-year-old man, Robert McKevitt, he was fired on the job for using a forklift on a vending machine. I know that sounds funny at this point. We're laughing about it.
But poor guy.
Well, what a situation. The gentleman, he lost his job and all of his unemployment benefits. He was a warehouse worker out in Iowa. He put $1 in the machine for a Twix candy bar, but it got stuck when it was on its way out of the vending machine. He tried rocking the machine back and forth to loosen the candy bar. The company he works for is alleging that he took a forklift and raised the forklift up and down 6 or 7 times to get that candy to fall. And in the process, 3 more candies fell. He got what he wanted. 5 days later, he was fired and let go, and all of his unemployment benefits were stripped. Days later, he got back in and called to some people that he worked with there, and they told him that all brand new vending machines were put in place. He took this case to court, and an Iowa judge upheld the unemployment benefits being removed from his person. So my question is how in the world does it get to this point? And I'm going to open this up to the panel. When I say how does it get to this point, how does a business let a man come up to a vending machine with a forklift and actually do damage?
Hold on. Before anybody says anything, I want to know where this vending machine was at. Because I've worked I worked at a warehouse for Target in Indianapolis at a distribution center. As a truck driver, I've been to numerous, thousands and thousands and thousands of distribution centers and warehouses. And I've never once seen a candy bar vending machine or any type of vending machine on the floor. It's in the break room.
Exactly.
So how in the hell did he get a fork truck in the break room if that's where it's at?
That's a good question. You would think he's supervised to not get to that point. And my question how in the world in a big business like that, I don't know that it's a huge warehouse, but how does one get to that point? That's just that's mind-boggling. I don't get it.
You'd think that there's cameras in the place too.
Yeah, what do you guys think on what would have been the proper way to handle this whole situation?
Kind of going back to the first question you asked, first of all, I think, as far as how it got to that point, how was he able to get the forklift and get out there? Supposedly he was a forklift driver, so I don't have any kind of, I'm not questioning his capabilities of getting on a machine that he had no idea of how to operate. Obviously he did because he was a forklift driver. And I'm assuming it just happened so fast. The guy's on his break and he got a candy bar stuck in a machine, 90 cents, and he wanted to take action. And hell, he sounded like he was pretty hungry.
Yeah,
should have got a Snickers then.
Yeah,
I know how all that works. We've got a vending machine at the body shop I'm working for, and individual that works for us. I won't put his name out there, but he actually punched out the plexiglass that covers the vending machine access and grabbed his candy out of there when it ripped him off.
Well, that's one way to do it.
Yeah.
I mean,
it happens all the time. I don't care.
But is your vending machine in your break room?
No, it is in a small hallway in between one part of the body shop and the offices.
Okay, but can you fit a fork truck down the hallway?
No.
That's
Yeah, why
Come on.
wasn't the vending machine inside of the actual break room? Does it say he was in a break room?
No.
It just says he was on his break.
They did not state, the news did not release the facts when it comes to where the vending machine was located.
This is asinine. I mean, you take a guy that's working and probably a 10 to 15 minute break.
Yeah.
And he's probably at Timbuktu on the other end of the warehouse and has to go to the other end to China and get
a Twix bar.
Get a Twix bar. And it takes his $1. And now they're saying he's using a fork truck to pick up the machine and slam it down. I know plexiglass, so if a man can break it with a fist and you slam it down 6 or 7 times that they're allegedly saying, it's going to shatter the plexiglass.
But why would they go in days later and replace all the vending machines if there was nothing wrong?
To get off topic here a little bit, my wife and I first got married. We moved into an apartment complex on the north side of Indy. And about 6 months into it, there's mine and 3 other people's rent checks got stolen out of the overnight drop box.
Yeah.
And there's no lights out there, no camera, no nothing like that. And this actually went to court and everything. And after all that settled, they put in a light and a camera to videotape stuff. Now, there's got to be cameras in this warehouse.
Yeah.
At some point.
Yeah. I don't think they executed his ultimate decision there. I don't agree with the judge upholding the decision to deny his unemployment benefits. I think that's, by all stretches taken way out of context. I believe personally that he was, rightfully owed his unemployment benefits, especially since it took them 5 days after the situation happened for them to let him go.
Yeah, I do agree with that, but I think what it also boils down to is that the guy obviously violated some sort of company policy there, and he more than likely was probably off the clock, which, can bring on some kind of liability issues with safety of the employees and whatnot.
Yeah. Someone
might have come around the corner, just depending on where this machine was, and could have possibly been hurt by it. What if he got hurt while he was on the forklift trying to rock this machine? Would the company have been at fault?
Yeah, there's so many, gray areas in this. But it all boils down to the guy should have his, unemployment benefits. Again, I'm with Jeremiah on that. I don't believe what the judge's decision was. Again, we don't know exactly what happened. None of that has been, discussed. But all in all, I think it's a joke.
Yeah,
I really do.
Absolutely, and sad that people are losing jobs over something. A 95-cent Twix bar just isn't worth a job to me.
I hope it was worth it.
Yeah, I mean, I tell you, that's something else. In other news here locally in Indianapolis, we've got a situation where gangs are getting out of hand. Young individuals as young as 12 are being, recruited into gangs. And for more on that, Keith's got some things to talk about.
All right. Yes, to kind of go on with what Jeremiah's saying is the IMPD, which is the Indianapolis Metro Police Department now, basically converged the local police for Indianapolis and the Marion County Sheriff's Department. They merged together. They're suggesting that there are 400 gangs in Indianapolis alone, but they're saying the exact number is 381. It's kind of alarming. Indianapolis is a big city, but not, by far the biggest.
Right.
Lieutenant Mike Elder sees gang activity all across the city on a daily basis. The gangs are doing anything from drugs to rapes, burglary, and homicides. On Saturday, March 15th, 2014, IMPD hosted a gang prevention meeting to discuss how they're going to handle the situations. They're finding kids from good homes are even in these gangs, so it kind of takes away the bias situation of, it's just bad kids that are doing bad things.
Yeah, didn't it state too that most of the kids come from real good homes and backgrounds, and I also read in that story too that most of these kids are well educated and do well in school, which again erases the stereotypical view of kids coming from bad homes and doing poorly in school.
And it's all ethnicity backgrounds. It's not just one race, white, black, Hispanic. They're all. And a 12-year-old kid can be manipulated very easily. When I was 12, if buddy told me to do something, I more than likely did it, even though if it was gonna
lighting a trash can on fire.
Yeah, that's your fault, Jay. Part of their approach from the IMPD is they're gonna try to keep the kids from joining the gangs. To me, that's pretty broad. They've been doing that for how many years, and it still happens, and it's getting worse. MS-13, that's a Hispanic gang that started in California and went into Mexico and Oklahoma, and now it's all the way over here, and it's even in Anderson, Indiana.
Yeah, they've got close to 1 million members in that nationwide. And just to touch base on that topic, that was based out of El Salvador. Some El Salvador immigrants started that here in the United States, but they all are drawn to drugs and the money's being turned over by selling drugs and committing these crimes on local and national levels.
What I think myself is like what Keith said and Jay's saying here, as far as how youth can be easily manipulated. I think a lot of peer pressure might be going into this as well.
Absolutely.
Maybe even on a local front in their communities. You wouldn't think so in such a nicer neighborhood, maybe a suburb or whatever. But that can happen anywhere. And basically, what I want to get to with this here is that I think a lot of this stuff is happening just nationwide, maybe not just here, maybe even in other countries, as we're not giving a lot of kids and children and youth in general a lot of opportunities, and we're not giving them a lot of things to do. I think a lot of these inner cities need to build better programs around this so that we can reduce the rate of kids out there wanting to get into these gangs. We need to give them more things to do. We need to give them clubs. I know in Anderson quite some time ago downtown, there was a local bar down in Anderson downtown that was once a youth 18 and under club, and then I don't know, maybe several months later, if not years, it eventually turned into a bar. So if that goes to tell you anything, it's just saying that we need to give these kids more things to do, and parents just need to continue their job at home, paying attention to their kids, talking to them, and trying to be involved in their lives.
Yeah, IMPD is suggesting that the parents monitor the items that their kids are buying. If they're buying expensive items and coming home with them, look into it. Just be aware. Be a parent, not a friend. Your kids are not always going to agree with what you do. I didn't always agree with my parents and what they told me I had to do, but it's part of growing up. And be a noisy parent. Listen to their phone calls and monitor their activities. If your child becomes a gang member, their attitude is going to change. They're going to become more violent. It's not a good situation for these kids to be in.
No, it's sad.
It happens in every city you go to. Some are worse than others, but with Indianapolis being 30 or 40 minutes away, this kind of concerns me, and it just boils down to when you're out somewhere with your family or by yourself, pay attention to your surroundings. That's something my father always taught me, is be aware. Don't go somewhere and think everyone that you see is a threat to you. But just be aware of what's around you.
Yeah.
Exactly. I think that's a good thing to practice. Like I said, as far as this whole gang activities is concerned and the kids getting into the gangs in Indianapolis having this problem, there's many more problems going on in Indianapolis as well, not just the gang activity, but the crime in general. Shootings, it seems like, is happening there every day. So sounds like Indianapolis just needs a big reform or something to that extent. There needs to be more things for youth to do there. They need to open up maybe some clubs where kids can go and have a good time at. I know in Anderson there was a Boys and Girls Club. I don't know if that's even still functional
Yeah, it
anymore.
seems like that's died out.
Yeah,
there's everywhere.
There's one in Noblesville. But of course, there you go. It's a city that has money.
I'll go back to what I always say. It's sad when even the Boy Scouts of America gets sold out to China.
That's right.
Everything seems to be going, out of city, out of state, and out of the country, and getting outsourced. But that's another topic we'll talk about another time.
It seems to me that, I don't know how many parents are saying it, well, we both work, how can we watch our kids all the time? Hey, when I was a kid, both my parents worked, and they could still tell you what I was doing, even if they didn't know where I was at.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to explain it. It's the fact that there's always going to be gangs. We're never going to prevent it, but we need to do something like Travis said to keep these kids out of it.
Yeah.
We hear all the time in not local news, but U.S. news that there's kids out in California that are 12 or 13 years old that are killed in gang shootings.
Yeah. Well, guys, we appreciate you coming over and doing week 3, and we've enjoyed Andrew Garrett from Texas. That was a great phone conversation we had with him on a large topic here locally. That's just one big topic. We will follow up on that topic in weeks to come once we get more information and other views from the outside. We have people that live in that area that can give their views and opinions. We have one last small thing to talk about, and that's just overall support that we're getting from this talk show. We ask that if you can, just go ahead and spread the word. Let people know that we're out there. You can follow us, on Facebook, on YouTube, on our Facebook. You can find links to our talk shows. When you go to Facebook, just search Real Talk with jk&t, or you can go to YouTube and type in the search bar, one word, Real Talk with jk&t, and that'll bring you to our channel. Please subscribe to our channel. Email us any topics, questions, concerns, comments, criticisms, positive and negative. You can email us at realtalkwithjkt, that's one word, at gmail.com.
Yeah, exactly like Jay said here. Plenty of ways to get in contact with us, and maybe for a future thing, we will maybe go live on Twitter for you guys as well. I personally have never really gotten involved with the Twitter thing. Just hasn't really been something that has interested me. But if it's something you guys suggest we do that you use an awful lot, we'll probably go that route.
Absolutely. Again, we appreciate everything you've done, and our closing story here, Keith's going to present that to you.
Yeah, I just got this email from Video Portal. Over in Berlin, there is a 200 million year old dinosaur egg that hatched in the Berlin Museum. It says a malfunction with the heating system of the Museum of Natural History in Berlin had some unforeseen consequences as a Gasosaurus egg dating from the Jurassic Park period ended up hatching, giving birth to the first dinosaur to see daylight in more than 100 million years.
Amazing.
The egg, which was believed to be petrified, was preserved in a small storage room situated right next to the boiler room. That's smart. When the system started overheating a few weeks ago, it seems to have surprisingly initiated the incubation process, leading to the egg to hatch. This is an incredible opportunity for science. Wow.
Personally, I think that's hell of an opportunity for them to
I mean,
to be rid of this thing before something else
Yeah.
worse could potentially come from running from dinosaurs.
it's got a picture on here with it, and it does not look like a carnivore.
It looks like some sort of alien.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of looks like a plant eater. I don't know. We're gonna look into this week, and then I'll if we can find anything else on it, I will bring it up next week on the show.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely. But we want to thank you guys for joining in with us on week 3. We want to thank Andrew for calling in and giving us a really good topic to discuss, to bring to you guys locally and nationally here in the country. This has been Real Talk with jk&t.
I'm Jay.
This is Keith.
This is Travis.
Thanks, guys.